ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति। We'll continue with the spirit, matter, and world.
Spirit, matter, and world. People consider it sacrilegious to accept a human being to be God. In their ignorance, they believe themselves to be constrained, limited individuals. You must free yourself from this self imposed bondage and proclaim the immaculate self that you are. You have lost your divine status because of identification with your material equipment. A human being is composed of spirit and matter. Spirit being your immortal self, and matter your body, mind, and intellect. You know your body, mind, and intellect, but not the self within. Hence, your identification is limited to these material equipments and not the self. Identification with an object is the result of maintaining a constant thought of it. Thus, you think of the body, identify with it, become one with it. You then believe you are the body. Thereafter, whatever happens to your body happens to you. So when your body is warm, you say, I am warm. And when your body is cold, you say, I am cold. Similarly, you identify with the mind and become one with it. And when your mind is happy, you say, I am happy. When it is unhappy, you say, I am unhappy. Again, identifying with the intellect, you say, I am brilliant, I am dull. When your intellect is brilliant or dull, thus your identification with body, mind, and intellect causes all these affectations. But your supreme self within remains unaffected through your fluctuating experiences in the ever changing world. To elucidate this phenomenon, consider the example of a magnet attracting a metal piece. The magnet, however, does not attract a wooden piece. Now bind the metal and wooden pieces together. The magnet would attract the combination. The combination would stick to the magnet. Nevertheless, the wooden piece therein is free, not affected by the magnet, but appears to be influenced, affected because of its association and identification with the metal piece. Similarly, the fluctuations of the external world influence, affect the material equipments of the body, mind, and intellect, but not the self. But the combination of the body, mind, and intellect with the self, the individual is affected. The self, however, remains unaffected by the world.
The human being is a
Shift
combination of
your focus.
spirit and matter. The matter is the changing component in you. The spirit is the unchanging aspect. So a human being is a combination of two. One that is ever changing and the other that doesn't change at all. One that is ever changing and the other which doesn't change at all. So all individuals, every human being is a combination of these two factors. Vedanta says you are God. Vedanta says you are Tat Tvamasi. You are God. Vedanta says that. And when you hear the statement you are God, you feel like laughing, isn't it? You feel like laughing at yourself because you know that you are not. You know that you are not God. Even though you wish to be God, even though you can, you want to be that, but you know that you are not God. Then what is the statement? You are God. First misunderstanding is when they say you are God, you identified with the material component is not God. Again, when we say you are God, the body, mind, intellect is not God. That is very obvious. The body, the mind, and intellect is not God. Then what is the statement? You are God. When you hear the statement you are God, you misunderstand that you, the individual, is addressed as God. First thing that you have to understand is you, the individual, is not addressed as God. That you have to be very clear. Because you assume you are the individual, whenever you say you are God, you think the individual is God. So first thing that you have to be very clear is you are not God, and you are God. You are not God and you are God. Which is not God? Which is God? The matter component is not God. The spirit component is God. So this is something that we need to understand in the context of Brahman and beings. So wonderful it is if the body, mind, intellect instrument is God. If body, mind, intellect instrument is God, there are 8.5 billion gods, isn't it? There are 8.5 billion gods, and 8.5 billion gods are ready to slaughter another. One god is fighting with another god. One god is jealous of another god. One god likes another god. One god hates another god. We are getting into absurdities if you take when you take the statement you are God. So what is meant by God? The identification with the material equipments. You have lost the divine status. Because of the identification with the material equipments, the divine status is lost. So he says, regain the divine status. Even regaining is a wrong word, because when we conclude the book, you'll understand even regaining is the wrong word. Recognize you are that. Recognize you are that. Now, in order to recognize you are that, first you should recognize what you are identifying with wrongly. What is the wrong recognition that you are having, as a result of which you are not able to rightly recognize? That has to be understood first. What is the wrong recognition? The wrong recognition is the body, mind, intellect is taken as you. The body, the mind, intellect, you assume as you. Who you are. Whenever the question who you are is asked, what should be the answer given? The level of the body, male or female. At the level of the body, it is either male or female. At the level of the mind, whatever it is. At the level of the intellect, how ignorant, how knowledgeable. Distinct and different from these three is me. Distinct and different from these three is me. So, you, instead of claiming the material status as yours, you claim the divine status as yours. And when you claim the divine status as yours, it is not unique only to you, it is common to everyone. In fact, only that is there. In fact, only that is there. Spirit have very good material for contemplation is the formula. Human being equals spirit and matter is a very good material for contemplation. The matter component is the ever-changing one. The spirit component is the unchanging one. So a human being has this, it's a very, when you say human being means all species. You can take it as all species. But for understanding purposes, since we are not talking to mosquitoes and cockroaches, since we are talking to human beings, we say human being is spirit plus matter. If you are talking to cockroaches, the formula will still be the Shankar. In a formula, cockroach equals spirit plus matter. If you are talking to the mosquito, what formula you will give? Spirit plus matter. Since we are not addressing them, we are addressing human beings. We say human being equals spirit plus matter. And matter is the ever-changing one, and spirit is the unchanging. Spirit is the unchanging, and matter is the ever-changing. How can this ever-changing and that doesn't change at all combine? And gives an existence, but you see it. So what do? You segregate the two. First thing that you segregate the two. What is the two segregation? The changing and the ever-changing. The changing and the changeless. The impermanent and the permanent. The moving wheel is supported by the unmoving axle. The moving wheel is supported by the unmoving axle. So all movement are supported by that which is not moving. Similarly, all changes are, when we say support, again, the problem of English language that is. Again, when you say support, is it like the walking stick supporting? Support means what? How do you understand the English word support? Something is about to fall, it keeps it. So when we say it is the unmoving wheel that supports, it is the unmoving axle that supports the moving wheel. What does the word support means here? How you should understand the word support? It's not like the stick supporting the roof. You know, when they put the buildings, they put those things. No, that is support. Is it like parents supporting children? Where is the support? No support. No. No, absolutely. In fact, hindrances only. Where is the support? So, what do you understand by the word support? How do you understand the word support here? Lends vitality. It lends vitality, and because of its presence, the other thing is able to function. That is the support. Because of the unmoving axle that is being there, the wheel is able to rotate. So in that sense, support means what here? It is that which is giving vitality. It is that which is giving life to the other. Without that, it would not function. So you find the three equipments. What are the three equipments? The body, the mind, the intellect. Generally called as matter. Since it is made up of matter, they are called material equipments. Since it is made up of matter, they are called material equipments. And this matter is supported by the self, the spirit. Now you segregate and you have understood what there are two things in you. What are the two things? The spirit and matter. All the time in your background, conscious, subconscious, I don't know what all levels of consciousness is. At all levels of consciousness, what do? You are associating with the material equipments all the time. And when it is said you are God, that part of it is not told as God. That part of your identification with the material equipments and claiming that you are an individual, and that individual is not God. There is something in that individual which is God. There is something in an individual that is God. And Vedanta says, the initial stages start claiming that. The initial stages start claiming that. Finally, you will realize you are that. Now to say you are that and all is it's not very helpful. Why it is not very helpful? Because still you are affected. Still, you can't say I am the self. You can't say I am the self, but boss is affecting me. You can't say that. You can't say I am the self and partner is disturbing my. I mean, you can't say that. The very fact that there are disturbances is the indication of wrong identification. The disturbance is an indication of wrong identification. And what is Vedanta? Are you happy with the disturbances? Are you peaceful with it? Are you peaceful, happy being disturbed? Can you be a contented, disturbed, contented person? Follow? It means that disturbance, that disturbance is not of your nature. That's why you are not. If disturbances were your original nature, you will be very disturbed in peace and contentment. You know that? If discontentment is your original nature, what will give you discontentment? What will agitate you? Peace of mind will agitate you. You will say, no, sir, I must do something and get agitated. Why? Because I am so peaceful, and that peace I am not able to handle. Are you able to follow? But then, at any cost, you want that peace. At any cost, you want to remain contented. At any cost, you want to be free. At any cost, you want to be free. At any cost, you want to be contented. At any cost, you want to be peaceful. Instruments can never be contented. Instruments can never be peaceful. Instruments can never be free. Body can never be free from
Pain.
correct. Body can never be free from pain. Because nature of body is
To be diseased.
to be had to go through the sukha and dukkha. Nature of mind is to go through these two. The nature of intellect is to have these two. What does the have to? Again sukha and dukkha. You have understood something, there is sukha. If you don't understand something, Ganesh, dukkha, isn't it? And you have to come at 8 o'clock in the morning to sort out why the dukkha is, isn't it? Yeah, why? Because if you understand something, there is, if you understand, there is sukha. If you don't understand, there is dukkha. You get what you want, there is sukha. You get what you don't want, there is dukkha. What you don't want, you have in lot. What you want, you don't have at all. What happens then? Dukkha. So, right through this freedom, this peace, this contentment, etc., is not possible as long as as long as you are identifying with the equipments, as long as you are trying for freedom for the instrument, you can never be free. Are you able to follow? If you are aspiring for freedom for the instrument, you can never be free. Because instruments are designed by nature to be
Impassive.
bound. And you must understand the word nature. Nature means, natural means that which cannot be changed. Nature means, natural means that which cannot be changed. Ramakrishna Paramahansa gives this example. The nature of the garlic cannot be changed. If you take that nature away, then it is not garlic, it is a plastic. What is the nature of garlic? You crush it 1 week later also. Yeah, 1 week later also you can't get into that place, isn't it? It is that. Therefore, nature means that which cannot be changed. Are you able to follow the definition? Nature means that which cannot be changed. You can't have a dark sun. S-U-N, not S-O-N. You can't have a dark sun. Why? Because it's the nature of the sun. Similarly, what is the nature of the instruments? What is the nature of the instruments? The nature of the instruments is they can never be free. They can never be free. The nature of the instrument is they can never be contented. They can never be free. Now, if you want freedom, if you want contentment, you should disassociate from the instruments. And if you have to disassociate from the instruments, what will you associate with then? Disassociate panni, you can't hang in the air, no. Able to follow? I leave the house, but then I should have another place to go, no. Otherwise I'm neither here. So when I am disassociating from the instruments, what you should associate with? That which you associate with should not be a product of your imagination. That which you associate with should not be a product of your hallucination. Are you able to follow? That which you associate with cannot be a hallucination. That which you associate with cannot be an imagination. That which you associate with cannot be a product of your dream, imagination. It has to be real. And what is that real? There is an aspect in you that is real. Start identifying with that. What is that aspect in you that is real? That is called spirit. So whenever you use the word I, you identify using the word I and mine. Identification happens through these actually it's not the word I and mine, it is the notion of I and mine. It's a notion of I and mine. So wherever you use the word I, wherever you use the word mine, and if you want freedom, what you should do? If you want freedom, what you should do? Disassociate. In order to disassociate, you should know what to associate with. That what you are associating with must be real. Able to follow? And that what you are associating with must be true, must be real. People say God, associate with God. And the word God has so many meanings. The word God has so many meanings it has. Are you able to follow? The word God has so many meanings it has. Amongst the various meanings of gods, which one do I choose? It's not a cultural choice. Are you able to follow? It's not a cultural. What is a cultural choice? To listen to Carnatic classical or Hindustani classical. You have a choice there. To eat idli or chapati, you have a choice there. 2 plus 2? 2 plus 2 is not a cultural choice. Correct? 2 plus 2 is not your ethical choice. 2 plus 2 is a simple recognition of a fact. Similarly, God should not be understood as the choice between Hindustani and classical. God should not be understood as a cultural choice. God should not, because my grandfather believed in that God, my father believed in some other God, now I am believing in another God. And the word God is more confusing than God himself. I don't know, himself or herself, I don't know what God is. Only God can understand that, because that word God is so complicated. So whenever you say God, you can't have a God as in very many definitions, very many differences. Are you able to follow? Why I am elaborating all this now? Because we have studied in the previous chapter already. God and gods. We know all that already. We should be able to quickly connect. Therefore, God is not a matter of choice. God is a matter of understanding. Choice you understand, no matter of choice you understand, correct? You go to the restaurant, there is the menu card. You can choose. Correct? You can choose. You go to the restaurant. Whatever you want, you can order. But I will supply only idli. You can ask whatever you want. You can ask for dosa, you can ask for pizza, you can ask for anything you want. But I will give you only idli. Now, do you have a choice there? God is not a subject matter of choice. You can't have your own definition of God. Because of people saying identify with God, identify with God, identify with God, everybody started making their own definitions of God and started to identify with that God. Vedanta comes and says that is not God. You can't make your own definition of God. Then what is God? The enlivening factor is God. And that enlivening factor, Brahman, you can identify with. So what is the process here? If you have to disidentify, you need to know what you have to identify with. And what you should identify with. You don't have to look for an imaginary God somewhere outside and start identifying with. Are you able to follow? You don't need to look for an imaginary God. You can see it in your own self. What is in your own self? A human being is a combination of these two, spirit and matter. That is why this definition is given again and again and again. So shift the attention from the matter to the self. So when it is said you are God, what in you is God and what in you is not God? There is nothing in you that is not God. Everything is God only. There is nothing in you that is not God. Everything is God only. But you don't know it. Here, you need to know it. Are you able to follow? Anything you constantly associate with, you develop an identification with that. Identification is the result of constant association. Anything that you associate with constantly, you develop an identification with it. Anything that you associate with constantly, mentally you develop an association. That is implied there. So identification comes through constant thought association, not the physical association. Identification comes through the thought association. Therefore, if you say, I am the body, it means you have identified with the body so much that instead of saying, I am using the body, you say, I am the body. You will follow? As absurd as you are using the car. And who are you? I am the car. How absurd it is. You are using a car and the person comes and asks you, who are you? The answer you are giving is, I am the car. It's like saying, I am the body. What would you call that person who says, I am the car? What would you call that person who says, I am the car? House is that one I am using. If you say, I am the house, what would you call that person? I don't know. Whatever word you want to use, you can use to name that person. Shastra says, Mudaha. And then it gives a wonderful prefixes also. Pramudaha, Vimudaha, specialization, super specialization. Yeah. Mudaha, yeah. Pramudaha, specialization. Vimudaha, super specialization. All foolishness. Why? Because first you say, I am the car. And then you say, I am the tire in the car. And then you say, I am the nut and bolt in the car. And you go nut only. Therefore, Vedanta says, shift to the wrong identification. Shift the wrong identification. You understand that you are using it, but you are not that. You understand that you are using it, but you are not that. Then who you are? Constantly thinking about the body, you become the body. Constantly thinking about the mind, you become the mind. How do you know that you have identified with the mind? You can scold me, sir, but why are you getting so angry and scolding? How can you laugh and scold? Isn't it? If you have to scold, you have to get angry only, isn't it? You can't laugh and say very affectionate. How can you do that? It means you have identified with the mind. If you have identified with the body, you see everything physical. If you identify with the mind, you see everything emotional. If you identified with the intellect, you see everything very confused. You see everything very confused. Because wrong identification. Example. What is the example that he is given here? You understand how identification happens? How identification happens? By constantly thinking about it. And what is the consequence of that identification? The consequence of identification is, the cause of identification is what? Constant thinking. What is the consequence of that identification? Whatever happens to that happens to you. That is the consequence of that identity. The consequence of that identification is, whatever happens to that happens to you. That is why when you say the body is warm, you will say, I am warm. When your body is cold, you say, I am cold. When your mind is happy, you say, I am happy. When it is unhappy, you say, I am unhappy. In some areas, I am brilliant. In some areas, I am dull. All this is because of identification with the instruments. You cannot identify and escape affectations. Don't try that. Or everybody is trying that. Nobody can succeed. You cannot avoid affectations as long as your identification is there. Now, if you want to avoid identifications, what you should do? Not identify with that. If you want freedom, stop associating. You cannot associate and still aspire for freedom. You cannot associate and still ask for freedom. Why? Because the very identification itself is affectation. The very identification itself is affectation. What is affectation? The nature of the body is to go through pain and pleasure. Body says, what is your problem? The nature of me is to go through pain and pleasure. You follow? At one stage in life, you eat so that you can grow. Another stage in life, you eat to sustain. Another stage in life, how much ever you eat, deterioration is happening. So body says, this is natural. Why are you identifying and getting affected? That's what the body will tell you. Body says, this is natural. Why are you getting affected by identifying? And because of your identification, you are torturing me also. Not only you identify and you come and torture me also. Why? Left up to me, I will continue my natural existence. What is the definition of nature means? That which cannot be changed. That which cannot be changed. Or if it can be changed, then it is not its nature. Straight away understood. But sir, we have made some changes, no? Then it's not its nature. We didn't change the heat of the sun. We couldn't go and change the heat of the sun. We only made an air condition and ran away from it. But we didn't do anything. We can't do anything to the heat of the sun, correct? That cannot be changed. Can you change it? If anybody says, just give us another 200 years, sir, our science and technology will develop so much that we will put a huge umbrella and cover the earth. Everything on earth will die if you cover it like that, isn't it? Are you able to follow? Therefore, what is the definition of nature? Nature means that which cannot be changed. Affectations will happen and it cannot be changed as long as identification are there with the instruments. Vedanta says, if you identify with the instruments, be happy and peaceful with affectations. Because having made the choice, you can't escape the consequence. It is foolish to do that. It is foolish to expect that. But then, sir, will God not give me any special grant, special exemption? Because I have done, if all others have given 10 coconuts, I have given him extra 15 coconuts. So for that extra 15, will he not have any special consideration for me? God says, what will God say? Venkatachalam. You give, you don't give, doesn't matter. Simply obey the law. Everything will be, who's asking for a coconut, who's asking for, simply obey the law and keep going. What is obeying the law? If you identify with the instruments, consequences are suffering and you cannot escape that. And if you want freedom from suffering, what you should do? What you should do? Stop associating. That we do very well in the class, sir. Yeah, that we will do very well in the class. We completely disassociate with Vedanta in the class. Yeah. After the class, Vedanta doesn't exist only. Where is it there? So in the class, it works. After the class, don't worry about practicing it in the class. Practice it outside. Therefore, identification, how identification happens? By constant mental association. And the consequence of that mental association is whatever happens to that happens to you. If you identify with the body, whatever happens to the body, if you identify with the body, you will say birth of the body is birth of me. If you identify with the body, you will say death of the body is death of me. I die. Are you able to follow? It's the body that is born and it's the body that is dying. Where are you born and where are you dying? But you say that. Why? Because you have identified with the body. And when you identify with the body, all that happens to the body is yours. And when you identify with the mind, you see whatever you identify with, you only see that.
Mind and infinite inner dialogue present body Madhuri.
Whatever you identify with, you only see that. If you have identified with the mind, what will you see? How many people are loving me? How many people are hating me? Who is smiling at me? Who is not smiling at me? Who says good morning to me? Who says get lost? It sees only emotions. Are you able to follow? It means you have identified with the mind. When you have identified with the mind, you see only, you become a bundle of emotions and all that you see is only emotions. And what is the nature of emotion? And what is the nature of emotion? Changing, correct. The nature of emotion is changing. And when change happens, you are devastated. Heart explosion. Shankar. சதாபிஷேகம் வரப்போறது அவருக்கு இப்பதான் ஹார்ட் எக்ஸ்ப்ளோஷன் வருதான். நியரிங் சதாபிஷேகம். சங்கர் கரெக்டா? நியரிங் சதாபிஷேகம். லாங் வேயா, 2 வருஷம் இருக்கு இன்னும். Yeah, 2 years is there. He's saying long way he's got. Huh? He is saying heart exploding. Yeah, huh? So when you identify with emotions, you become a bundle of emotions, and your heart will be constantly always on the edge of explosion, edge of breaking. Why? Because you see only emotions. Emotions means favorable emotions, unfavorable emotions. Who all are favorable with you, you will want to associate. Who are all not favorable, you will want to disassociate. Or somebody who is not favorable, you want that person to be favorable. Somebody who is favorable, you hate that. This is called identifying with emotions, and you cannot avoid that. Are you able to follow? And what is identifying with intellect means? What is identifying with intellect means? Are you able to follow? Mind
Just
and
like body said that
and
what
body.
is your problem? What will mind say what is your problem?
Mind also will tell you the same thing. Why are you associating with me and torturing me? Because by nature I will keep changing.
Oh,
The person that I love today, I will not love tomorrow. The person loving me today, the person loving me today will not love me tomorrow. The person that I am loving today, I will not love tomorrow. Where is the problem? And why are you forcing me to torture? Just leave it to my nature. You don't identify with me. You identify with me and and torture me and torture yourself also. Are you able to follow?
says the mind.
Intellect. What is intellect? What is identification with the intellect means?
Intellect என்று சொல்லணும்.
What is identification with the intellect means? Even the child gets very hurt if it is called a fool, no? Even the child gets very hurt if you call that child fool. So what is identification with the intellect? Identification with the intellect is identifying with your brilliance, how brilliant you are, and how much you can cover up your ignorance, how much you can cover it up. And every now and then it gets exposed. And every time it gets exposed, you get angry at the person who's exposing it. You get angry at the situation that exposes it. You get angry at the person who's exposing it. The nature of intellect is what? You can know something, you can never know so many things. Correct? What is the nature of intellect? You can know a few, you can never know a lot. So, nature of intellect is a combination of
Knowing and not knowing.
brilliant and brilliant in the area where it knows, dull in all the other areas. And when you identify with the intellect, what do you believe? Knowing one or two subjects, you believe you have become a all-knower, isn't it? You think you are all-knowing. You ask anybody any question, they will have an answer. Rarely the person says, I don't know. They will have an answer. They are not worried about whether it is the right answer or wrong answer. It's not. There is an answer. And more so, this ego is more pronounced in the so-called spiritual people. The way in which the spiritual people think they are all knowers. They will talk about everything as they know everything, isn't it? They don't know. How can you know? But when you identify with the intellect, what happens? You will be affected by it. What is affectation? When somebody calls you a fool, you will be affected. When somebody praises you, you are elated. You are elated, isn't it? Facebook likes, you are elated. Nobody is even bothering about it. You are deflated. I don't know, whatever it is. As long as you identify with the instruments, you cannot. As long as you identify with the instrument, you will suffer from the consequences of it. What is the consequences? The changes that goes through, which is natural for the instruments to go through. At one point of time, your memory is very sharp. At another point of time, it starts fading. A time will come where you will not where you will not even remember your name. Who are you now? You will think for 10 minutes. What is your name now? You have to think for 10 minutes and then give the answer. Aadhaar card. Because I forgot my name. Look at my identity card and understand and know my. So the nature of that is to be with you at one point of time and leave at another point of time. Not with you and leave. That's the nature. You unnecessarily identify with it, and that identification makes you to do things that which is an impossible. What is that impossible thing that you try to do? You try to do that which is
Beyond the capacity of instruments.
you try to do that which goes against the nature of the instruments. You do so, that's where all human efforts becomes futile at the end, because all the attempts is to do something to go against the nature of the instruments. The science, the technology, everything is making the human being believe that somehow they can change the nature of the instruments. What is the nature of the instrument? To change, isn't it? To change. Somehow at 250 years, supposing if I'm assuming that I'm living for 250 years, even at that time, my skin should be how it should be. Huh? எவ்வளோ வார்த்தை சொல்றாங்கப்பா. Firm, toned, supple, அப்புறம் என்னது? Soft, wrinkle free. After 250 years of life, how it will be? You follow? And when the first sign comes, yeah, feel like committing suicide. It's not worth living anymore, sir. Why? One wrinkle has come here. The first white hair is enough, no? The first white hair is enough to bring about total destruction. All human efforts becomes futile ultimately because you do something which cannot be done. You may not. We can give Nobel prizes to ourselves and congratulate ourselves, thinking that we are brilliant, isn't it? One human being giving a Nobel prize to another human being, what is the big deal? Correct? One buffalo calling another buffalo brilliant. What difference does it make? And we get so excited about it also, and we get so elated about it also. Wow, I have become so real. One mosquito saying another mosquito, you are extraordinary, award. And 10 mosquitoes sit and give award to one mosquito, and that we clap for that also. At the end of it, only to realize that all the human effort ends in futile. Will end up in futile. You may not agree. It may look very pessimistic. You may not agree, it may look very pessimistic, but the law doesn't change because 2 plus 2, you have no choice over the law. You have no, but the human arrogance makes them to believe that they are above the law and they can change everything in the way that they want. To escape the heat, we discover the air conditioner. And that air conditioner we discover is creating a problem. To solve that problem, we have to create something else, isn't it? When everything was green, we went, now go green, isn't it? Correct? Go green. Now the slogan is, Aparna, in your company also, no? Correct? Go green. Go green. It was green only, no? It was green only. When was it ever? When was it ever not green? Unnecessarily, we made it not green, and then now a big drama going on. Go green, go green. Life says you must come back. You must come back and obey the law. Life makes you to, are you able to follow? Life makes you to obey the law. Vedanta says, Adi vangi, vada vangi, don't obey. Yeah, don't get knocks and shocks. Yeah, don't get knocks and shocks to obey the law. Obey the law by knowledge and understanding. Obey the law by knowledge and understanding. And what is the law? There is something in you that is constantly changing. There is something in you that doesn't change at all. And that doesn't change at all is separate. That which is constantly changing is separate. And these two factors that cannot be combined, gotten together and created this phenomena called life. How do you understand that these two are separate? That's a magnet example. Magnet example explains that. What is the magnet example that we saw? Consider the example of a magnet attracting a metal piece. A magnet attracts the metal piece. The magnet, however, does not attract a wooden piece. Now bind the metal and the wooden pieces together. What happens to it? The combination gets attracted. Correct? The combination gets attracted. Even when they get attracted, the wooden piece still remains. Even when they appear to be attracted, the wooden piece still remains free only. Correct? Even then, the wooden pieces remain off. Even then, the wooden piece is free from the magnet. Similarly, what is the magnet? External world is the magnet. What is the magnet? The external world is the magnet. What is the metal piece? The material equipments are the metal piece. What is the wooden piece? And don't say God is wood. Please, for example, and then don't conclude like that. Correct, sir. God is dead wood only. Because he is not at all awake, no? So, the magnet is the world. The metal piece, the instruments. The metal piece are the instruments. The magnet is the world. And by nature, sense objects gravitate towards the senses gravitate towards the sense objects. There is a push and there is a pull. There is a push and there is a pull. Push-pull effect. Where did we study that? Atmabodha, isn't it? No, it's not in Atmabodha. Bhajagovinda we studied. Where did we study the push-pull effect? Chapter 2, Bhagavad Gita, Sitaprajna portion. He says, there is the push and then there is the pull. The nature of the magnet and the iron piece is to get attracted. That's the nature. The fluctuations of the external world influence the body, mind, intellect. The fluctuations of the external world affect the one who is attracted to the world, not to the one who is not attracted. Therefore, you can never prevent the body, mind, intellect from getting attracted to the world. What you can do? What is it that you can do? You can stop identifying with it. And if you have to stop identifying with it, you have to place your thoughts elsewhere. Are you able to follow now? That cannot be stopped. Are you able to follow? See, body will be affected. Supposing if you say here, so I want peace of mind, sir. Too much of noise here, isn't it? 6 o'clock in the morning, the fellow comes to collect the garbage. Apaswarathila or song also comes, no, nowadays. There is one song, no, that comes along with that fellow, garbage fellow. Yeah. That's like a alarm clock. I think, no, like 4 o'clock, that fellow must come, isn't it? I don't know what that. Yeah. Almost for 1.5 months, I was trying to figure from where that noise is. What is that tune? What is that noise? I want to study. I want to, all that is disturbing me. Therefore, I will go to a quiet and peaceful place. I'll go to a quiet and peaceful place where there is no these kind of disturbances. You go and sit in an Himalayan caves. Mosquito will make a noise. It goes, no? That mosquito noise will disturb you, isn't it? Okay, everything is perfectly fine. That person also was with me to enjoy this place. How nice it will be. Able to follow? That person, sir, I am missing. Everything is fine in this place. Only if that person was also here, honeymoon, it will be. I don't know what it will be. It will go to something. It will go to something else. It will go to something else. Because of your identification. Are you able to follow? So, the senses, the sense objects, and the senses. To generalize it, the world and the individual mutually attract one another. And the consequences of that attraction is sorrow and suffering. The consequences of that is sorrow and suffering. That cannot be avoided. What cannot be avoided? You cannot tell the senses don't get attracted to sense object. You cannot tell that to the senses. You can say, but the senses won't. The senses won't listen. Or the senses will listen only when they are dying, isn't it? The senses won't listen when it is young and alive. The same senses will appear to listen when they are becoming dull. Actually, it's a dull sense. It's not an alive sense. Therefore, the nature of the senses is to gravitate towards the sense objects. That cannot be avoided. That cannot be stopped. And problem is not with that. The problem is when you identify with that, and you also, when you identify with that and you start, because of that identification, you suffer the consequences of that identification. Everybody follow? Vedanta says you need not do that. You need not do that. Why? Because you can place your thoughts elsewhere. You can place your thoughts elsewhere. Where can you place your thoughts? Not on some imaginary God, not on something that which is sitting in the heavens or above the clouds, that unchanging factor in you. Instead of focusing it on some external factor, you can start focusing it on your own self. Your own self meaning? Your own self meaning what? The nature of the changing is to change, and I cannot make the unchanging. I can never make the unchanging to become changeless. Sorry, I can never make the changing to become changeless. I can never make the changing to become changeless. Correct? Spirit, matter, and world. That is the topic. The spirit, the matter, and the world. It means the wood, the metal piece, magnet. The spirit, matter, and world means the magnet, the metal piece, and the wooden piece. Because of the association, it appears to be influenced by the magnet. To say I am suffering or to say I am excited, both are lies. It is the body that goes through that. You are not that. But you constantly use the word I only to mean that. That means what? Equipments. From now on, he is going to talk about how to disassociate. How to disassociate, shift your focus, understand them as toys, and all that comes, which we will do next week. For today, the point is you have to realize that you have to recognize, you have to realize that you have to disassociate. Disassociation happens because of right understanding. Where there is right understanding, disassociation happens automatically. In order to disassociate, you need to have the right understanding. The useful has to be understood as useful. The useless has to be understood as useless. Then only you can decide it. Then only you will stop identifying. As long as the useless is appearing useful, you will associate with that only. Shankaracharya can say what he wants to say. Krishna can say what he wants to say. All enlightened masters can say what they want to say. But as long as the useless is appearing useful to you, you will continue to identify with that only. Therefore, identification or removing the wrong identification happens only through right knowledge and understand. You can't simply say disassociate, disassociate. How can you disassociate? Where will you, how can you disassociate? Disassociation means running away. Disassociation means committing suicide. If all that is the method, you will books along one by one, isn't it? ஒரே session தான். Next session audience இருக்க மாட்டாங்க, isn't it? And every session there will be new audiences. Why? Because if suicide is the solution, every session new audience, because this lot would have gone, no, gata soon agata, that would have, but then that is not the solution. Disassociation cannot happen by running away. Disassociation cannot happen by dying. Disassociation happens only by proper knowledge and understanding. And what is the right knowledge and right understanding? To understand the useless as useless. Ignorance is to understand or misunderstood the useless as useful. Because of long association, the useless is appearing useful, isn't it? Everything appears useful, no? Even the old broomstick also appears useful, isn't it? இருக்கட்டும் சார், ஃபியூச்சர்ல யூஸ் ஆகும் எதுக்காவது இல்லையா? இன் ஃபியூச்சர் இட் வில் பி யூஸ்ஃபுல். அப்போ வேர் வில் யூ கோ அண்ட் கெட் இட்? You open the loft, and if the loft is empty, well organized person, isn't it? You open the loft and things are falling on you. As soon as you open, it is falling on you, yeah. Another example. That's all. What else do we do there? What else do we do? Why? Because even all the useless is seen as, but there in nature, everything, nothing is useless, no sir. Everything is very useful, no sir. Cannot. Yeah. The Putarka and the Tamasic intellect is so much that Shankaracharya will get confused. That's why he does. That way they don't talk at all. Why? Everything is so. But in nature, everything is useful, no sir. What is knowledge and understanding? Recognize the useless as useless. The worst state is the glass piece is understood as Kohinoor diamond, and the Kohinoor diamond is understood as a glass piece. That's where knowledge is required. The glass piece is understood as the Kohinoor diamond, and you give the Kohinoor diamond, the fellow won't even know that it is a Kohinoor diamond. Yeah, I'm just giving that example. Maybe there's some other diamond now. I don't know. What is the most expensive diamond? If at all there is that diamond, there are some Kohinoor diamond. Appo அப்படிதான் இருக்கும். Not to identify, you must understand the useless as useless. Not to identify, you should understand the real value. The moment you understand the real value, you will stop identifying automatically. You are identifying because you have given a black market value. Knowledge removes the black market value that you have given. Knowledge removes the exaggerated value that you have given. When the exaggerated values are removed, when the black market values are taken away, you need not tell that person stop identify. You need not tell that person don't identify. Mind by nature will not want to go beyond associate. Why? Because you need money. To expand your business, you need money. You will not go to the toy store and buy Monopoly money, no? Will you do that? Why? Because you understand, you have understood that to be, useless. But still you can buy that game. You can play with that Monopoly money. In that game, they call it, I don't, what is it called now? When I was playing, it used to be called a trade. It used to be called trade. You can buy the whole of Chowpatty, you can buy the whole of Malabar Hills, you can buy, there will be a banker, there will be so much of money, you can borrow, you can lend, you can go bankrupt also. When will the game end? Somebody will go bankrupt. You understand that, no? Bankruptcy becomes the end. The end game is bankrupt. When you are in need of money now, will you use that Monopoly money? Why? Will even one thought go towards that? Why? Because you have understood it as useless. The moment you understand it as useless, you can never get tempted. As long as you think it can be useful, you will be, as long as you misunderstand it to be useful, you will get tempted. Therefore, identification happens because of constant thought association, constant mental association, and the constant mental association makes you give an exaggerated black market value to it, and all that you need to do is what? Through knowledge and understanding, remove the exaggerated value that you have given. How to remove the exaggerated value? That's what we are going to see. The next few topics, we are going to see that. Not today. Shift your focus, the toys, etc. That helps you to remove the exaggerated notion. That is the topic. Spirit, matter, and world. Meaning, magnet, metal piece, wooden piece. Yeah. With this, we conclude for today. Yes.
I have two questions, ma'am. First one is, if God is the enabler, so from the past I'm bringing this question. If body, mind, intellect is that inert equipment which is enabled by Brahman, what exactly do we mean by the word inert? We cannot say dead body.
Inert. What is the definition of matter? Matter is inert. What is the definition of inert? What is the definition of inert? Inert means by itself doesn't have any life in it. Matter means that doesn't have any life. Matter means that by itself doesn't have any awareness. Matter means that by itself doesn't have any consciousness. That's called matter.
Like wood.
That is the definition of matter. Matter means that which doesn't have any life in it. You should have studied all these words by now. You should have looked into the what is matter. You should have studied. We have been using this for decades. After decades, you can't ask what is matter. Are you able to follow? What does the word matter means? That which has no life in it. electricity and the bulb. Bulb is matter. Unless it comes in contact with electricity, there will not be any. Does bulb itself light? Are you able to follow the example? Does bulb itself light? Unless it comes in contact with electricity, there will not be an expression of, there will not be light. Similarly, matter by itself is like bulb unless it is connected with, unless electricity enlivens it. Are you able to follow?
Not dead.
Inert means that which doesn't have any, don't use the word that I am using. Inert means that which is not, that which doesn't have any. It's not a dead bulb. It's not a fused bulb. It's not a fused bulb. Unless it comes in contact with electricity, there will not be a life. That's all. Matter means by itself, it cannot have any life. That's all. Doesn't mean, does that mean it is dead? Does that mean it is half dead? Don't get into that discussion. Are you able to follow? Simply say, by itself, it doesn't have any life. That's called matter. Are you able to follow? You are considering it as immediately, why do you go to the other opposite? It is enlivening. Electricity is there. The bulb is there. Electricity is there. The bulb is there. Does electricity by itself gives light? Does bulb by itself can give light? Only when both combines, there is an expression. So life, Brahman by itself doesn't have any expression. Just as electricity by itself doesn't have any expression. Body, mind, intellect by itself doesn't have any expression on its own. Only when they both combine, there is life. And that is divided into two, matter and spirit. Are you able to follow? Next question.
I understand that we should not associate with the material equipment. It is one angle, but from a different angle, if I see the body, mind, intellect is a microcosm and there is a macrocosm, and both are from the very Brahman, then I feel like asking if they are Brahman or they are part of Brahman, why I should not associate with.
Don't worry. Don't talk from another angle. Try to understand from, she is asking from another angle. From the, don't ask from Paraprakriti, Aparaprakriti and all, what will happen and all, don't ask. From this, try to understand it from this angle. Don't bring in another angle. You will not be able to know it. Don't bring in from whatever angle is set, try and understand this angle. Don't bring in another angle, because you will neither understand that nor you will understand this. Don't mix it up. Understand them separately. Disassociate, because it's all matter. But sir, in some other context, everything is Brahman only. In the 7th chapter, we have said God only has become like that. Then what are we dissociating? It means what are you talking? Absurdity it is. When you start comparing like that, you will get into absurdities. Understand that separately, understand this separately. Don't connect. And every time I keep saying don't connect, you will go on connecting. Don't connect. It will not. Sariya? Anything else?
Yes, Shankar has posted a question. Shankar Kolattu.
Different angle. Another problem. Different angle. Where is Shankar Kolattu? One angle from in a different angle. Other in a different angle. Body per se cannot exist, grow or decay without the support of spirit. Same way, the mind and intellect. In that sense, the body, in that sense, the body is also part of self, Brahman. Since the body without the self is inert. What is the question? Alattur Shankar.
Sir, நீங்க சொன்னீங்க when you said body's nature is to grow, decay and die.
Yes.
That growth and decay and death doesn't happen without the support of Brahman. That was the conclusion,
Birth.
right?
Birth, growth, decay, disease, death.
Yes, correct.
Birth, growth, disease, decay, death,
Death.
again birth, again death is happening.
But will it happen without Brahman? It has got no separate existence, you said, and you also said you don't get affected
Brahman
by
is
that.
Brahman is not causing the birth. Brahman is not causing the growth. Brahman is not causing the death.
But without Brahman, it doesn't. It has got
Yes,
body
yes.
per se cannot.
அதுதான் போன வாரம் எலாபரேட் பண்ணியாச்சு. போன வாரத்தோட கனெக்ட் பண்ணணும். It is discussed in the last week. Birth is an action, growth is an action, death is an action. Petrol and the car examples. One whole class we analyzed about it. So whenever you talk about action, there is a supporter of the action, and the supporter of the action has got nothing to do with the action.
Yes.
We saw that already last week.
Yes.
Are you able to follow? Birth is an action. Growth is an action. Death is an action. Petrol is propeller of the action.
Propeller, correct.
அப்புறம் ரெண்டாவது petrol is மூணு சொன்னோம் இல்லையா? That's why we are so detached from Vedanta. Completely detached from knowledge. Three things. Without petrol, there cannot be any action. Then comes the medium car, the small car, the big car. The instrument decides the quality of the action, not the quality of the action. Instrument decides the quality of the action. The third, consequences of the action. Safe arrival in an ambulance, isn't it? Safe arrival in a freezer box. The consequences are not by the who's responsible for the consequences? Not the petrol. Are you able to follow? Now, birth, growth, death. It's an action, correct? Are you able to understand it as an action? Birth is an action because it wasn't there before it is coming. Action means what? Yeah, basics, these basic words you should know. Action means it wasn't there at one point of time. It has a beginning, it has an end. That's what action means. Action means starting and ending. Are you able to follow? Birth means beginning. End means birth is an action. End is an action. And whenever we are talking about action, what do we understand? There is a supporter of there is the enlivener. And what is the nature of that enlivener? The nature of that enlivener is called Sakshi. அதில் என்ன பெரிய ப்ராப்ளம்னாக்க சாட்சி enlivener, supporter. Are you able to follow? See, supporting, enlivening, all are verbs without an action. They are all verbs without an. Otherwise, supporter also looks like one action. Enlivening also looks like an action. Are you able to follow? It is not an action in that sense. It is a verb without an action. அப்படி ஏதாவது இருக்குதா? Is there anything like that? That is sakshi. There is a verb without an action. That is sakshi. There is the verb without an action. That is enlivener. You have to stretch yourself to understand. Are you able to follow? Otherwise, what you will misunderstand? Enlivener is another action. Supporter is also another type of action. We are still circling around action only. We are not moving out of the action to understand. That's why even in the beginning of today's session also I said, what do you understand by the word support? The presence of it, everything happens. The movement, just the presence of the axle is enough for the movement to, it doesn't do anything. So to understand enlivener, put it like that. Contemplate on this. Verb without, it's a verb without denoting any action. It is a verb without an action. See it like that. Understand it like that. You will know what they are trying to say. அப்பதான் electricity and bulb connection புரியும். Are you able to follow? Then only you will understand the connection between matter and spirit. And this formula itself is very difficult to understand. Matter and spirit. So understand separately what is meant by the word matter. Lastly, remember this. Every science has its own meaning to the word. When you are studying that science, you should give. That is clearer thinking. Are you able to follow? Every science has its own meaning to the word they use. So you can't use. Are you able to follow? Every science has its own meaning. So when you want to understand that subject, you got to use it. You got to use it in the meaning that they say. You can't use it from another meaning. You follow? See, whenever you hear the word matter, where have you studied matter? Where did you study matter? Doesn't matter, sir. It doesn't matter. Where did you study matter? Oh, what's it? Isn't it? Solid. Matter is of 3 states: solid, liquid, and a gas. Now that is the word, that is the meaning given in the word matter is given in that science. With that understanding, you can't ask questions here, or you should ask, define matter first. Yeah, define matter first. Are you able to follow? So understanding enlivener and all is not an action. It's the mere presence. It's the mere all-pervading, ever-existing presence. In that all-pervading, ever-existing presence, something seems to appear. Something is happening. So when we talk about sakshi, when we talk about enlivener, what are we talking about? The ever-existing, all-pervading thing. Now, when we say ever-existing, all-pervading thing, we have lost it, because intellect cannot comprehend it. And that there is something in you which the human intellect cannot comprehend, and that is called, that's called spirit. And what is the role of that spirit? The role of that spirit is enlivener. Again, role na action. Yeah, tirupi, we get caught in the trap. Are you able to follow? Role na, again, role becomes another kind of action. So where any word that you use, you get into a trap. What is the trap? Trap of some action. A trap of some action only. lot of manana is required to get out of this trap. Lot of manana is required to get out of this trap in thinking. Are you able to follow, Shankar? Yeah. Yes.
One more by Venkatachala.
Action happens in time. Yes, action is happening in time. Witness is outside time. Witness is outside time. Can I understand this way? Yes. Can I understand this way? Yes. 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 I'm hearing my own voice feedback. I'm hearing my own voice feedback. So, action is happening in time. Witness means not bound by time. And anything that is not bound by time becomes incomprehensible. Because all understanding happens within the time only. But when we are talking about witnessing, when we are talking about enlivening, enlivener, we are talking about that which is there beyond time and also appears to be in time. That's why we are using the word witnesser. We are using the word witnessing, witnesser, sakshi, enlivener. Because if we say it is beyond time, then we cannot say anything about it. We cannot talk about it at all. If you have to elaborate it, you have to bring it as though it is within the time. As though within the time. Within the time means it is also doing some kind of an action. It is also doing some kind of an action. It is also having a body. It is also doing, then it becomes comprehensible. But then all these are elementary level of education. As we evolve in understanding, we move out of it. You follow? Venkatachala, Sariya? Yeah. Okay, Venkat. Yeah. We continue next week with shift your focus.